Hi, welcome to Thoughts from the Road. My name is BJ Marshall. I'm the Executive Director of Highway Connections. Today we're going to talk about something that's very familiar to everybody, gas, or diesel depending on what you're driving that day. But many of us have seen gas pumps. Many of us have had to interact with gas pumps. I can remember one of the first times my dad was showing me how to fill up our car, I realized there was more than one button, and I asked him, what are all these different gases for? Aren't they all just gas? He kind of laughed at me, and that was when I realized that there is more to what you put in your tank than meets the eye. Reminds me of a funny story of a guy I used to work for. I'd gotten a brand new diesel pickup truck. He was driving into work one day and he stopped at the local gas station to fill up his truck. A friend of his was just finishing up filling up his truck and told my boss, he's like, hey, I'll stick the nozzle in once the pump is unlocked, and that way you can get your coffee and stuff and save you a little bit of time. My boss thought, this is great, I'll do it. Goes in, he's getting his Coke, his coffee, whatever he was getting that day, gets up to get everything unlocked, comes out to his truck and realizes that the unleaded gas line was in the nozzle of his diesel truck. Now, for some of you, you are cringing right now. He quickly shut off his truck, called some people, and we were able to pump out the gas, his diesel tank, clean it, get it put back in, and thankfully the truck wasn't ruined. But you know, this is really similar to our lives as Christians, what we put in. You see, when we put in good things, the Bible, worship, helping others, kind words, good deeds, that's like putting the right type of fuel in our tanks. But when we put in those things that aren't good for us, pornography, evil words, evil actions, those things can ruin our tank. They can ruin our engine. They can ruin our relationship with God. Paul tells us in Philippians, he says, whatever things are lovely, pure, of good report, think on these things. And then go out and do as I've shown you how to do. Paul gives us this filter to look through on whenever we approach something. Is this good for us, or will this cause us harm? It's kind of like your fuel filter in your truck. We went through a stage there for a while where it felt like I was going through fuel filters every other week. I got too good at changing them out, in fact. But man, when that fuel filter gummed up, that truck wasn't going anywhere. And that's the same thing in our lives. When we use the Word of God to filter out what we've put in our tanks, we can do better at how we walk our Christian life. But Paul doesn't stop at what we're thinking about. He tells us to move on and actually put action with that, to go out and do good, to go out and do those things that we know we should do. Next time you see a gas pump, remember which nozzle to put in your tank, have a safe trip, and keep your eyes on the road.